For years, I held myself back from posting on social media because I was terrified of what people would think. Maybe you felt that too. And here's the trick that helped me to stop hiding. And it's the same trick that can turn a silent expert into a visible leader. Hey, my name is Cami Hoyza, and I'm here today to talk to you about a really interesting concept that I came across quite a few years ago and ignored it. That's the that was the worst part. So I had a really great coach. His name was Todd Herman, and he was really a business coach for my business, and he did help me with that a lot. But during the time that he was working with me, he came up with this new framework that he used with a lot of athletes and CEOs called the alter ego. And he wrote a book about it, and it was a great book, but I thought it was pseudoscience. His idea was that you would take on a persona, and then that persona would help you push through and do the things that you needed to do as a CEO. I didn't like it because it felt very inauthentic to me at the time, and I did not really want to do it. So I ignored Todd Herman. Sorry, Todd. I ignored him on this one. And then um, later, I realized that there was a little bit something else that I could put into it. And you see, I'm wearing my shirt today, and I'll talk to you about that here in a minute. I want to talk to you about this Wonder Woman shirt because I kind of have taken this on in the last year or so. Maybe it's been two almost. This alter ego, I guess, is what I've done. And the problem is I didn't want to change into Wonder Woman in my mind. I mean, that wasn't it. But what I want to teach you today and what I want to go through with you today is this psychological hack that you can do with your own brain to get yourself through to the next level on some of these things. So let me kind of start at the beginning. And the reason I came to you today to do this is because during this week, this has kind of come to me in a couple of different ways. While I was out there, there's a woman, her name is Laura Acosta, Lara Acosta, and she's kind of a big, grower on LinkedIn. And I was looking through some LinkedIn things, and one of her videos popped up for me inside of YouTube. And interestingly, this video was very I think she put how I blew up everything to grow. So basically, I blew up my LinkedIn following as fast as I could. And really, part of that was actually she blew up her LinkedIn. She totally started a new account. She had a LinkedIn account, but it was kind of steeped in what she used to do. So she, instead of trying to start over and do everything again, she actually blew up her entire LinkedIn account and started over. And she did this because she felt like it was going to hold her back. And why was it going to hold her back? Well, because she feared what people from her past, people from high school, her parents, people that she knew would think about what she was doing. And I've watched what she's doing. It does not bother me at all because I'm probably part of who her ideal audience was supposed to be. But like, say you had been doing an entirely different career and you wanted to switch, but you didn't want to be held back. Well, for her, that was the mental hurdle. And so for her, she started over. I don't think you have to do that necessarily. I think starting over sometimes is a little bit extreme, but I do think that sometimes, like by switching this one thing in your mind, it really does help you to get there. So let me just kind of go into the research. I'm going to pull it up here. So there's some research. It's called the Fresh Start Effect, and the Fresh Start Effect is kind of like what we do when we go into a new year. And I have a one word exercise I usually put out for all you guys during like the New Year's. And, we get into a new year and we're like, yes, we've got this new start, we've got this fresh time, and we make changes. And sometimes that change is very powerful. Like very many people will make changes during this time that normally would not. We also know that we fall off of that change a lot too, right? And so that fresh start effect is, I'm trying to pull it up here. It was a research done in the Wharton School of Business by Katie Milkman, Hinchkin Dye, and Jason Riss in 2014. And they found that people are more likely to change right after a fresh start moment, like a new week, a birthday, or even a Monday morning, because it feels like a clean slate. the thing is you can't manufacture these clean slates. You personally have to make that fresh start in your own brain. So for you and me, we have to make our own fresh start moments in order to make this work. So that's part of what I'm going to talk to you about today. Because then, there's this whole fresh start. Like you want to lose weight, you get to the gym. And then if you've ever been a gym person, which I have, you'll see this huge surge in January. And then like it kind of peters out. And then there's a surge right after the summer into the school year right now. And then it kind of peters out as you go along. So, how can we make those stick? And so I've been thinking about that a lot. And along that line, I was reading some Substack articles. And again, Substack is kind of growing. Have you guys noticed that? Anyway, that's an aside. But there is a guy named Ravi Gupta, and he has a new Substack there. He's kind of from the political side of things, but he also does education. And so he's doing a complete education one. And he told a story when he was the principal of a junior high or a middle school, where they had a kid that was just not living up to his potential. He was just not moving forward as fast as he should. And, he was kind of like disengaged in class and slumping and in his seat and all those kinds of things. And so what he did was he pulled him aside and he said, I see you. Like, I see all of what you are. And he knew a little bit about him. He was into superheroes and magazines and manga and all this. And he said, do you know Superman? He goes, yeah, and he goes, what was his alter ego? He said, Clark Kent. And he goes, what is your alter ego? Like, who are you? Like, really? Because I know this isn't who you are. I know that you are better than that. And so this kid came up with his own alter ego name that then became his personality at school. And he totally turned around. He ended up being on the student council and basically running that school by the time he left there. It really was all about giving that himself permission to switch. And we need to do that too. So let me just talk about it. There's a method that I'm going to put here on the screen for you so you can see it. Here it is. It's the signature self method. Um, you're going to define yourself, then you're going to just basically who you are and who you are when you show up at your boldest and most authentic. And then we're going to anchor that into a version of you, to a symbol or a ritual, something simple that reminds you to step into it, and then act as your signature self by taking one small action today that your higher self would choose. It's easier than you think, but I know it feels a little bit weird to you probably whenever I talk about this way. But these are the things: define, anchor, act. So let me kind of walk into this with you for all of those pieces. So, first of all, whenever you define yourself, what is that going to be for you? And for me, it was about Wonder Woman. A lot of people would say, how do you do everything you do? You're like, a superhero, Wonder Woman, whatever. I, I, I don't believe that that's true about myself. It was very hard for me to like accept that idea. But I definitely took this on because I thought, I need to start thinking of myself as capable of doing the big things that I want to do, because I have a huge vision. Like, I want to help other people, other content creators and coaches and consultants, especially PR and marketing people, because we're terrible at marketing ourselves. PR and marketing people, we market everybody else except for ourselves. And so I have this huge vision to help this community to grow and have thriving businesses and so on. And because of that, I am constantly getting in my way, though, with my own small thinking. So let me just kind of get back to that. So defining yourself and your signature self. The reason I like this better than like say an alter ego or kind of switching completely is because I feel that's just so inauthentic to me. And I don't know if you may be the same. If you are feeling like the same kind of thing about that, let me know in the comments. But that is something that I feel often is I just don't want to pretend to be somebody I'm not. And so coming up with something that defines your signature self, like who are you at your highest, authentic self? Who is it you want to be? Who is it you would like to be? So that is where you're at. Who is that person? Who is that person? And then anchoring it with some kind of symbol or ritual or something simple. I'm using the shirt. It could be anything. It could be a ring. It could be like a scarf. It could be it could be something that it could be a mantra that you say before you go do something. I often use I can do hard things. That's what I've been doing lately. I've been telling myself I can do hard things. I can do them. Like when I'm feeling like I can't, and I'm having this thing in my mentally in my head saying I can't, I can't, I can't. I'll say I can do hard things and then step into it. So let me tell you where I came from though. So many years ago when I first started blogging, I did love to blog and put my ideas out there, but I often would play very small. Like I didn't like to step out and try to sell something, and all of that made me feel very, very uncomfortable. I kind of felt like ideas should win out. Like if I had great ideas and people knew my work, that was enough. People would come to me because I had great ideas. The problem is that that's not true because people have to remember you first. And to be memorable, you kind of have to do a branding thing. Did not want to do it, did not like to do it, was very resistant to that. And part of the reason I was very resistant to that is because I heard other colleagues making fun of people who did that. Let that set. So I was just in groups of people where they would like say, oh, so and so, they're just kind of like, wow, they're just sticking out there, right? Like, look at them, like, look at me, look at me. And I took that internally and said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be, so I played small for a very long time. I let other people take the lead. I partnered with people and then let them be the star. I did this over and over and over again. And it's been a while now since I kind of switched that and came over to some other side. And I guess what really got that for me was that I started to realize that if I didn't start to stand out, that I would never be able to have the impact or help the number of people that I wanted to help. I just knew I had to stand out. Now, are people talking about me and saying weird things? Probably. Yeah. And if you're one of those, sorry. I mean, this is who I am. So here we are. The yellow jackets, the things. I mean, I'm doing what I have to do in order to make the impact I need to make. And so that's really defining it. My definition is that I am here to serve people at the highest level, my clients, and my students and my membership. We have the Smart Social Mastery membership. We have the Social Media Breakfast of Houston. I have Zoetica Media. I have a lot of people that I'm trying to serve, and I want to make sure I'm serving them at the highest level that I can. And this is how it works. Because if I can do this, they can do this. I have to do it, or otherwise they don't feel like they can. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's really defining myself. So once you get that down, like you really say, this is what I'm up to. I think that's the best way, in my opinion, to define yourself is not so much as about you, but about the people that you're trying to serve, right? So what is your purpose on this earth right now? What is it? And I know you have one. Every single one of you have a purpose. And I am determined to help you find that purpose and bring it to life. Then I want you to anchor it. So that's really coming up with a symbol or a ritual. You have to have something that reminds you of this because believe me, this morning I didn't want to get out of bed. And I did not want to go live on this stream. I took a really long vacation in July, and it was hard for me. I was gone for a while. I was gone for about 3 weeks, and I took another little bit of time off too. So I didn't actually live stream or do anything for about 4 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing for me last week when I did it was to push live, like go live again. And even though I'm good at this, even though I do this all the time, even though this is like the way I've done things for a while now, it's so easy to lose track of that about yourself. So, what is your anchor? What is that going to be? So, for me, it's my shirt and my thoughts in my head of you can do hard things. I can overcome, right? So, those are the two for me. I have this mantra and I have this alter ego, or what I'm calling signature self, that I put on. I put on my armor and I go out there and I work with people. Do I always wear this? No, but I am today so that you guys can see it. And then act. So then you have to act as your signature self by taking one small action today that your higher self would choose. What would that be? I would love it in the comments if you told me, what would your higher self choose for you today? So oftentimes you can just say, hey, my higher self told me I had to do this. I like I like it to make my higher self the boss of me. And if you need like coaching, ask me because I'm very good at that too. I'll help you. So I think accountability partners are great. Grabbing somebody who else who like sees you as your higher self and holds you to your higher self that says, "Hey, I see you playing small over there. Can we can we play just a little bit bigger?" That's really helpful. So that last piece is really about acting. So again, let me put up the thing so you get it. You're going to define what your highest self is. You're going to anchor in that higher self by choosing some sort of ritual, some sort of, it can be as small as a piece of paper on like a sticky note on your computer. It can be a very small thing. And then you're going to act on that by asking yourself every single day, what would my higher self have me do today? You don't have to do all the things at once. You just have to do one small thing every day that your higher self would do. Talk to somebody, write a outline for a blog post. Um, Come on here and do a little live stream. Just post on LinkedIn. Post something that you saw or some insight that you have that isn't like AI generated. By the way, I love AI, but AI is not going to get you these nuggets that I'm giving you right now. These are your experiences that are going to do that. Now you can have AI help you organize it. By the way, I had AI help me organize this live stream just so I could, have an outline. But anyway, so that's the deal. You are a person that is sometimes in your own way, right? We stand in our own way. We have so much experience that we have to share, but we define ourselves in a way that keeps us from going forward. Somebody had told me, and I'm trying to remember where I heard this, but if you say, I can't do blah, 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 like I can't do live streams, always just add a comma on the end and put yet. I can't do live streams yet. I can't send out a newsletter yet. I can't. So if you have any I can't statements in your head right now, I just want you to think in your head, what is the I can't statement that you're having right now? And then just do me a favor and put the word yet at the end of it. I can't yet. So even if you feel like you can't do something yet, that doesn't mean that that is your position for the rest of your life. That is not your position for the rest of your life. I would posit to say if you look back over the last year or two and think about who you were in that time frame, what would that look like for you? I mean, I think we just forget how far we've come sometimes. And we just are always saying to ourselves, what have you done for me lately, self? So instead of asking that, why aren't you asking, what is my highest self today? What can I do one thing at a time? All right. So that is kind of what I wanted to go over today is really this three-part process. And listen, it's not magic, but it does make a huge difference. So if you pair this idea of a fresh start, today can be your fresh start. This moment can be your fresh start. But if you need a fresh start on Monday, fine. So if you need to have a fresh start, like maybe you have a big, birthday coming up, whatever it is for you that motivates you for this fresh start, and you pair it with this framework that I just gave you, which is define, anchor, and act, you're going to be able to push through. Do you see how this works? You give yourself that option. So, that being said, I want to give you a couple of things that I want you to do because I don't want you to walk away from this video without interacting with this and doing these things. So, I would love for you to either tell me who your signature self is going to be, or maybe a goal that you're trying to achieve. And maybe tell me like how you're going to remember that for yourself. Like, is it going to be a post-it note? Is it going to be a t-shirt? Is it going, maybe you don't know yet, but you can say, for now, it's going to be this rock that I carry around, whatever it is. So I'm trying to, I know I have rocks around here somewhere. Anyway, that would be cool. So if you could tell me that, that would be great. And here's the truth. It's hard to hold on to your signature self alone. Coaching, accountability, and community, they're going to help keep you stepping into your higher self. We have communities here in Houston. We've got the social media breakfast. I've got Smart Social Mastery, which is a membership group. We can talk about that. It's not open right now, but it will be probably in a couple of months. And that's exactly what you need. Or you can just find a friend who can be your accountability partner. You need a little bit of accountability. So please either tell me here on the stream if you feel uncomfortable with that. Find somebody you can talk to about this and give them these 3 steps you're going to do. Who is your highest self? What are you going to anchor it with? And what are some steps that you're going to take to do that? And I'm going to help out a little bit because over the next couple of weeks, I've planned out a kind of a longer 5-part series or journey called From Silent Expert to Visible Leader. And that is finding your superpower, overcoming the fear of judgment. We're going to talk about overcoming, shaping your signature message, which is really important, I think, for this, and using your brand like a visible leader. And then I am going to do my brand voice workshop at the end of September. I think it's, don't have the date in front of me. So just make sure you're subscribed to me or connected with me here, wherever you're watching this, and reach out to me on DMs if you want to, but we will have this series. So if you're feeling like this is an area in which you want to have a little bit of work, I'm going to pull together a little series here for you to do that. So that is all for today. I really appreciate you listening in, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the week.